Hi, I'm Irma Ramirez. Welcome to Gems of the Inland Empire. Hi, and welcome to Gems of the Inland Empire. I'm Irma Ramirez, and we're here today at Inland Sound and Cinema. Let's go on in and see what it's all about here in beautiful San Bernardino on this gorgeous sunny day. Hi, Dave. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're here today because I learned of you from Doug Rickard, who is the owner of Rickard's Art Center here in San Bernardino. And as we were in his store, we saw this fabulous Macintosh amp that he told us about. And he said, we've got to come check out your store.
Well, I'm delighted. I'm glad to have you here. We'll show you around.
That'd be great, thanks. And can you please give us an education? Because I don't know anything about sound, but I can tell you when it sounds really great, and I can also feel it when it sounds really bad. So if you can please give us a little bit of an education today, too.
Well, we deal with equipment that's generally cut above the things that Best Buy has. We have brands that they don't carry. We have kind of the best of the best. We cater to people that are really audio aficionados, audiophiles.
Now, what is an audiophile?
Somebody who has a passion for really excellent sound, somebody who has a passion to have equipment that transports them to the site of the performance, where the musicians are in the room with them and they can close their eyes and know exactly where every musician is placed in front of them, and they're in the room with the music group.
So you would say you and George Lucas are audiophiles?
I'll bet he is.
Can you please give us a tour of your store?
Yes, I'd be delighted.
Doug, I see this piece of equipment and it looks very modern while at the same time a little retro. Can you explain what this fabulous piece is?
Sure, it is retro. There's a small but very enthusiastic group of people that still like tube amplifiers. They feel like it has a warmer sound, a more accurate sound than some of the digital equipment that's out. So what we have here are some integrated amps, little integrated amps that are devoted to iPod use. So it's kind of mixing old technology of 40 years ago with current technology of iPods. They think people that are into tube gear feel that it has a superior sound to equivalent digital solid-state gear.
That is a beautiful looking piece of art. Dave, this looks like a speaker, but it's a speaker that I've never seen before.
This is a Magnepan speaker. They're called planar magnetic speakers. They're very flat panels. They have a mylar ribbon, and they have electrodes that make the ribbon move, and they have different sections that move at different frequencies. So you have treble, mid-range, and bass all in one panel. They are very fast, accurate, they image extremely well, and they're actually a very good buy. They're different than most people think of these regular dynamic speakers, but they have an excellent sound quality.
Now I see an amplifier over here. It says Macintosh. What I do know about Macintosh is that they're considered one of the best in the world. Is that correct?
Macintosh is the quintessential American electronics company. They started business in the early 50s, so they've been in business now almost 60 years. The gear still looks the same. It's quite expensive, but it lasts forever. Their policy is when you buy a piece of their equipment, it's for life. They'll upgrade, bring back to factory specs items that they sold 40 years ago. They're in New York. It's one of the few items of electronics that's still made in the United States. This happens to be a tube integrated amp, so it's the same kind of technology as those little iPod amps that we looked at earlier, but this one has lots more power and will handle much bigger speakers, and with wonderful results.
Well, it looks like a really beautiful set. Now, can we hear something on it to see what it sounds like?
You bet. My pleasure.
That sounds beautiful. Dave, this is an amazing store, not only with sound and your home theater system set. Can you please have a seat and let's be comfortable here in your beautiful store? And why don't you tell me a little bit about the history of your store and how you got started here in San Bernardino?
Well, let me back up. This building that we're in used to be a movie theater. It was actually San Bernardino's premier movie theater. It was built in 1967 as a single-screen theater with 1,232 seats. As the years went by, the economies of the theater business changed, and multi-screen theaters became the more viable business model. So they divided this building into two and had two screens, and it was in business until about 1990 and when it closed, and we opened it and moved in 1997, went from a movie theater to home theater.
And is there a significance behind the sign? The sign looks very retro also, like maybe part of it's original, or did you change it up at some point?
Well, movie film, I think, is still synonymous with entertainment and movies, even though we're out in the digital age, and movie film is a rarity. But I think people always identify the side of movie film with movies.
Let's take a look at your home theater. I've heard all about it. Will you give us a tour?
Sure.
Wow, this is impressive, Dave. Tell me about this room.
Well, this is a home theater room set up with a front video projector and a 106-inch diagonal screen. We've got a full surround sound set up here, and we've got theater chairs. They recline. They have drink holders in the arms. They're very comfortable. And you'll notice in the corners we have these triangular bass traps, they're called. So the room isn't so boomy with those bass traps there, and it's not so live and reflective when you have these wall panels there. I've noticed when I walk into this room, it changes, you know. The sound is softer, a little deader. You can just feel it when you walk in here.
So not only are they functional, but they look really cool, just blocks of art up on your crimson walls here.
Well, they worked with the color that we have. Obviously, this is a very bright red room. One can get these panels with all kinds of different fabrics and colors. They can be very decorative if one wants them to be. So there's a huge book of fabrics and patterns and colors that one can have these covered with.
So the man of the house can have that great sound he really likes, and the gal can make it an artistic statement as well.
That's exactly what it's all about, you bet.
Now, Dave, I see these speakers over here in this different setup in your store. They look very unique.
This is our room where we have our best equipment at the moment. What we have here are B&W, they're called 802s. There are this thing on top that people always keep thinking looks like a microphone is actually a tweeter. So it's a high-frequency audio driver. This helmet-shaped device is actually a mid-range driver, and down in the main cabinet we have the woofers, the bass drivers. And next to them are some more Magnepans, but these are the big brothers to the ones that we looked at earlier. And we have these things powered, again, by some more Macintosh equipment, two 500-watt monoblock amps. What that means is that each one of these speakers has its own amplifier, a 500-watt amp for each speaker. And we have a Macintosh CD player. So this is our high-end room.
Yes, so this room does represent just the top quality, some top-of-the-line stuff that you can offer.
You could go anywhere in the country and be hard-pressed to find better gear than this. And we're the only ones in the Inland Empire that carry things of this quality.
Aha, so if you want the best quality, they come to you.
That's what we're here for.
But you have something for everyone. You don't have to necessarily get these really high-end speakers to have at least decent sound in your home. There's something for everybody here.
Oh, absolutely. We start at the low end, too. All of these speaker companies make smaller speakers. They're still excellent. They have great sound, but they're far less expensive than these things that we're standing in front of right now.
So you see, Dave is the local expert. So when you want advice on sound and a theater system in your home, you come to Dave.
You bet. We'll take care of you.
Now, Dave, I see so much high-tech equipment here in your store, and in this little corner, this doesn't look high-tech. This looks like classical instruments. Can you explain this corner of your store?
You're absolutely right. This isn't even an electronic piano. This is a big step backwards. But I've played piano and vibraphone all my life. Worked my way through college and graduate school playing these instruments in combos and groups, and still play with a bunch of fellows in Redlands.
So you are a musician.
Yes, I inherited it. My mother and father were both violinists, career violinists, and I didn't go into violin, but I went into combo jazz playing keyboards.
So that's why sound is so important to you, because of your background as a musician. You definitely know what you're talking about in terms of quality of sound and what musicians and these filmmakers really want their audience to hear.
Well, I guess I've gotten used to listening carefully. When you're playing in a group, you're always listening to what the other instruments are doing. You're always wanting to adjust the relative volumes and balance of the instruments so that it sounds right. And I guess I bring that instinct to the audio business.
Can you play just a little something for us?
All right.
That was wonderful. That was just wonderful. Right off the top of your head, you could play that.
I know lots of standards. I know lots of old songs from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. The new stuff, not so much.
Well, that was beautiful. You don't need to play any of the new stuff with your repertoire like that. Thank you so much for playing for us, for having us here in your beautiful store, and giving us an education about sound.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad you could come over.
This truly is a gem of the Inland Empire. Please tell us, where can we find you? Where can we tell people to come on in?
We're very easy to find. We're just off the 215 freeway. You take the Orange Show Road off-ramp, drive east just one block, and we're right across the street from Target. Our address is 474 West Orange Show Road, and our phone number is 909-885-3191.
And for those of us who are sort of home shoppers and like to do our recon at home, do you have a website?
Yes, it's www.inlandsound.com.
Thank you so much, Dave. Thanks again for having us in your store and entertaining us, not only with your information and educating us, but with your piano playing.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me do that, and I was glad that you could come over. It was fun having you.
Thanks again. Thanks very much.